Oliver Bennett wasn't the kind of man who flaunted his wealth or his success. On most days, he preferred a simple suit, calm words, and a quiet smile. People who worked for him knew he was the founder and owner of Bennett and Company. Enterprises ***, a rising giant in the tech and manufacturing industry. But strangers rarely guessed he was worth millions. On this particular morning, Oliver had decided to leave work early with his trusted assistant, Claire. The two had just wrapped up a big negotiation, and Oliver wanted a breath of fresh air outside the towering glass building that carried his name. Just as they stepped outside, Oliver stopped in his tracks. His eyes fell on a young woman walking briskly out of the building, clutching a small handbag and a folder. "Who's that girl?" Oliver asked, narrowing his gaze. Claire glanced at her notes. "Intern in sales. Started yesterday. Name's Sandra." Oliver froze. His heart skipped a beat, then another. He couldn't mistake her. Those sharp cheekbones, the confident stride, the way she brushed her hair behind her ear. Memories flooded back. Oliver muttered. "She's my ex." Claire raised her brows. "Oh, maybe fate brought us back together," he whispered to himself. Instead of approaching her as himself, a mischievous idea took root. He wanted to know if Sandra had changed, or if she was still the same person who had walked out of his life years ago. Oliver ducked back inside, removed his jacket, and quickly changed into a spare security guard's uniform kept in the lobby for emergencies. Claire looked at him in disbelief. "Boss, are you serious?" Oliver smirked. "Watch and learn." He rushed after Sandra and called out softly, "Sandra." She turned around, and her jaw dropped. "Oh my God. Oliver, what a surprise." Oliver gave a warm smile. "Happy to see you again." Sandra's eyes swept him up and down. Her lips curved into something between pity and amusement. "You're now a security guard? Well, at least you have a job." Oliver chuckled quietly, masking the sting. "What about you? Why this company?" She flipped her hair proudly. "I'm overqualified, but I plan to become the owner's wife one day." Oliver lowered his head, scratching nervously as if embarrassed. "You know, I think of you a lot, Sandra." Her eyes narrowed. "Hold up. I hope you're not here to say you want us back together." "Maybe," Oliver said, his voice careful. "Maybe we should give it another shot." Sandra burst out laughing, loud and sharp. "You're kidding, right? I left because you were a loser. Fast forward to now, you're still a loser. You can't afford me." Her words cut deep, sharper than any blade. Oliver felt the sting of her dismissal, but he stayed calm. At that moment, Claire returned, carrying a folder. Sandra stiffened, her eyes darting nervously. "Please go away. We can't be seen together." She rushed to Claire, desperate to avoid embarrassment. But Claire only gave her a polite smile. "Hello." Then, without hesitation, she walked past Sandra and headed straight to Oliver. "Boss," she said, her voice respectful. "The contracts are awaiting your signature." Sandra's face drained of color. Her head snapped toward Oliver, her jaw falling open. "Boss? Oliver, you're the boss." Oliver slipped off his cap and gave her a cool, unreadable look. "Yes." Sandra's lips trembled. "Oliver, how cruel. You didn't tell me you were the boss." "I didn't know." Listen, maybe we can start over again. Forget what I said earlier. We could try again." But Oliver only smiled, not warmly this time, but with the calmness of a man who had grown past her. "Don't even bother. You already know the answer." He turned, handed the folder to Claire, and walked away without looking back. Sandra stood frozen on the sidewalk, her pride shattered, her dream of marrying the owner destroyed in the cruelest twist of fate. Years ago, Sandra had been Oliver's first love. They had met in college. He, a shy, ambitious engineering student with big dreams, but little money. She, a vibrant, confident business major who loved the finer things in life. At first, their love seemed unshakable. They spent late nights studying, shared dollar pizzas, and talked about the future. Oliver believed she was the one. But as the years passed, Sandra grew restless. She wanted luxury, a man who could provide endless shopping trips, vacations in Europe, and a mansion by the coast. Oliver couldn't give her that, not then. He was still struggling, working part-time jobs while building the foundation of his company. One night, after a particularly harsh fight, Sandra had said the words that haunted him for years. "You'll never be enough for me, Oliver. You're a loser, and I can't waste my life waiting for you to get rich." She walked away, leaving him broken. But that night also lit a fire inside Oliver. He vowed never to be measured by someone else's shallow scale. He worked harder than ever, building Bennett and Company from the ground up. What started as a two-person garage project turned into a multi-million-dollar empire. And now, fate had indeed brought Sandra back, but not for love, only for a painful lesson. As Oliver and Claire disappeared into the building, Sandra stood in the afternoon sun, humiliated. Her dream of finding the rich owner had come true, but in the cruelest irony, it was the very man she had once discarded. She whispered to herself, "What have I done?" But the words carried no weight. The truth was simple. People who love you only for what you have never truly loved you at all. Oliver didn't need to tell her that. His silence and his back turned away spoke louder than anything else. And for Oliver, walking back into his office, there was no regret, just peace. Because sometimes, the sweetest victory isn't revenge, it's becoming the person you always knew you could be, without the people who doubted you. Comment yes if you think Oliver did the right thing.